Hello, gorgeous souls, and welcome to Audacious. This is your host, Shahrzad Parandeh, and I wanted to take some time and use this episode as connect with you more so you can get to know me if you're new to my world, and we can talk about the audacity to evolve and increase our capacity. If you're new to my world, I'm so glad that with the collaborations, with having all these incredible women that came together, you have found me, and you're also going to find many other voices that are going to deeply activate you. And that was my intention for creating this summit. I wanted for all of us to bring our geniuses, to bring our zones that we have been working on, we've been embodying, and then there's also crossovers, things that we teach and share and help other people. And yet there are different perspectives that will decode something for you. I don't know about you, but in throughout the years that I've been a student of this work, both as a coach and a student of this work, is that there have been times that I've heard something, I learned something, and while it was a really good nugget that I learned, it also, when I heard it from a different perspective, or I even from the same coach or someone else, that it landed differently. So my invitation for you is to watch every single one of these interviews, because I know there is something that you're going to take away from them that's going to change the trajectory of your life, the course of your life, if you allowed it. So open your heart, open your mind, and receive what is for you and come back to it. If there's something that you want to revisit and go back into really getting it, then by all means do it. Also remember that every single one of our speakers have, while they have their social media, podcast, and YouTube channels, there are gifts and there's offers that they're offering in each of these interviews. So make sure that you go read the description, go to the bottom of it, and receive what's intended. Some of them have been very generous, giving 100% discount on their offer. Some is paid, but there are normally smaller amounts, and there's also bigger containers that if it's you feel called to it, by all means explore them, really feel what is right for you, what feels aligned for you, and do what makes you go to your next level. Now, a little bit about me. My gateway to this work was in the area of relationships and love. And I feel like every single one of us has that moment that there's something that is going on in their life that they want to heal, they want to fix, they want to have a breakthrough. And then they enter this world, and then the story starts writing itself, because we don't just stop there, do we? We don't say, okay, now I have healed my relationship stuff or my money stuff or whatever it is. It all kind of weaves into together, because we are women that we want excellence in every area of our life, not just one. Well, mine was in the world of dating and relationships. I had found myself, it was in 2013, one more time in a relationship with an unavailable man. And that was my pattern. And I was at the bottom of the bathroom floor crying over this guy. And I had this feeling. This was the very first time that I had found myself praying. And although I had some sort of relationship with God up until that point, but it wasn't the relationship. My relationship until that point was like the God in the sky, the guy with the beard sitting up there, and I was, judging me and making sure that I'm doing all the right things. That was my relationship until then. But it wasn't a real embodied. And I don't know if I fully believed that there was a God. But I found myself, I was in so much pain, finding myself completely shattered. And I made this almost like demand of God. I'm like, if you're really there, show me what I'm doing wrong, because I can't take this anymore. I can't go through this pain over and over because I love so hard and it's never enough. I give everything to a relationship and it's never reciprocated, and I am left with feeling like I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I think it also was the moment that I actually took personal responsibility. Instead of having the story of all these men that are breaking my heart and they are bad and they are wrong, I came to what am I doing that is causing this? I am the common denominator in all of this. So, God, show me the way. Help me find out what it is. And from that moment on, that feeling that came through, it was perhaps in that moment momentarily, but it stuck with me. My quest of finding how am I creating this in my life? Why is this pattern happening over and over had initiated? So through a series of events, I went online, I found my first coach. I had no idea what coaching industry was, what dating and relationship and coaching was. It was like I was living in this universe and there was this whole different world that I had no idea existed. And I found it. I found it. And when I did, um, I realized I started learning that in fact I was doing everything incorrectly, from self-abandonment and making a man the center of my world and making sure that he gets all of his needs met so he would choose me, love me, pick me. Are you familiar with that line? That was my story. And that was obviously the wrong energetics when you want to create a beautiful relationship in your life. So as I learned and I started to embody and have my relationship and dating world change very quickly. This was the moment that I was on the bathroom floor was in the June of 2013, June 15, 2013. And by November 15th, 2013, I went on my first date, my last first date ever with my husband. So the transformation was very fast when I started to learn and actually embody the teachings. At that point in my life, I was working in the corporate world as a civil engineer. I had my master's degree in civil engineering, and I was just doing my own thing and having a proper job. And I am from the Middle East, so this was being an engineer was written in the skies for me. That was the expectation. You're either a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. So I was an engineer. And so when in that crossroads that I was, and I went on for a few years, but I was in groups with other women that were about relationships because it wasn't, the work didn't end there, right? Like it wasn't like, okay, I got the guy and therefore it's over and now I know everything. There's every layer that comes with being in a relationship and staying in your power and being able to maintain your magnetism, maintain your personal power was a whole different thing. So I was in those groups, but there were a lot of women that were going through the same thing that I used to go, and they would post their questions. And because I had learned these things, I would be commenting and helping them in those free groups, and they would implement what they learned from me and they would get results. So they would come back and ask me more questions. And after a while, I got so many women asking in my DM, so do you charge? What is your package? I want to work with you privately. And I was kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, I am a civil engineer. I'm just doing this because I'm doing this because I know what you're going through. So I'm just giving you, helping you with what I know. But the seed was planted that I could be doing this as perhaps a profession. And there was so much that I had to overcome. And this is something that I want to share here. I don't think I've often shared about it, is that being able to claim this new path for myself. And for those of you who relate to this, for those of you, especially from the Eastern world, when disappointing your parents, when doing something that they're not they don't understand. They don't know what coaching industry is. And they have left their own country for you to come and have better opportunities. We moved to Canada when I was 14 years old. And now I'm going to change my path. And that wasn't in the script. That wasn't what was agreed upon. So there was a lot that I was facing in deciding that. And at first it wasn't about that. At first it just became something that I did on the side. I went and the good student that I am, I wanted to do things properly. And I think it is important to, when you are becoming a coach, to have proper training, because this is truly a profession, and this is something that mastery and art of it is important. So I went and became certified in dating and relationship, but I honestly thought that, first of all, I'm just going to be doing this on the side, because who knows what's going to happen. And the other truth part was that the thought of telling my parents that I am completely changing gears and becoming a coach and leaving my very safe job and, all the money that went into becoming a civil engineer, having a master's degree, bye-bye to that. It was difficult. It was very hard. And so this is the bridge between working on my dating and relationship. Now it's leading me to working on becoming a woman that can decide for herself, for her future, and having this rite of passage of not being a little girl that is trying to just do as she's told, and being a woman that her parents, their approval is not God. It's not that if they are disappointed in you, then what are you going to do with yourself? Can you even live with yourself? So that was the next step of claiming my womanhood, making decisions for myself when it comes to my future. So that was the work that needed to be there. And so when I started to start having clients, and very quickly, within 4 months or so, I had 19 private clients that I was working with. And so you can imagine that the amount of work that it went there. And for any of you who have done, your new coaches and you're starting off, you don't know your boundaries, you don't know what works and what doesn't work. So you learn this all through your experiences. So having a full-time job and having 19 clients, it was a lot. And very quickly, I had started to make monthly as much as I was making at my corporate job within 4 months or so. So now within um a few months after that, I had built some confidence. I had built some resiliency, and now I was doing what I actually love doing. I would leap out of bed to create content to help my clients. So the desire of this gets to be my life, this gets to be something that I get to do, was not something that I could ignore. So in 2018, January of 2018, I quit my corporate job and became a dating and relationship coach. And I've never looked back ever since then, but having to have conversations with my parents around this decision that I was making, and not seeking permission, not seeking approval, but really standing on my own and being able to have the certainty to say that this is the path that I'm choosing and I'm certain in it. And I feel that even if I am making a mistake, I can live with that. I will learn from it. It really was a rite of passage for me, because um, when I showed up as a little girl seeking permission in all the past decisions that I made, I was treated as such. I was treated like a little girl. But now that, with the work that had gone into it, I could hold my own and speak to my parents from that energy of speaking my truth with love and respect and certainty. It was respected. There were questions, of course, that they had, but it wasn't the huge disappointment that I had suspected that it was going to be. But the work, the inner work, the expansion, the evolution, it did not end there. Now, with the new identity, with being a business owner and living in unpredictability of being an entrepreneur, the amount of work that had to go there, the amount of work that when you are in containers, in masterminds, in coaching programs that you're in with other women that are doing the same thing, that's the next level that I had to start to embody, to learn from. And so you see that how everything in this world can lead to more expansion, to more evolution and being able to scale my business, learning all these skills when it comes to scaling and leadership skills that I needed to learn in order to be able to lead and hire people. Now I'm no longer just an employee, but I am a business owner that I need support in all of this, all the learning that comes from the tech stuff, a complete level that I had to step into. The other thing that I want to talk about was the healing or the opportunity that comes when it is in the context of sisterhood. Like many women in your own journey, and tell me if you can relate to it, there was a lot of sisterhood wound that I had. And it came from me in my past endeavors, especially in school, not being a cool girl and being a girl that was maybe that was the smartest in the class, maybe always knew the answers, but when it came to being like other women or being cool like other girls, I wasn't the one. I was the one that I felt like an outcast. I felt like I don't belong. So now I am in containers, in masterminds with other women that are definitely kicking butt. And I'm no longer the smartest girl in the room. I am not the shiny star, the teacher's pet. Among other women that are brilliant, that they're doing amazing things in the world. So the amount of work that I had to do within myself to, first of all, not feel less than, not completely lose myself in the presence of these women and not compete with them, not try to outshine them or blend into the walls. And these are the things that they do happen, but being in those containers, it is really an opportunity, was an opportunity, and is an opportunity for me to heal over and over and over and be among women that they are just as bright and as shiny as you are, and you get to hold your power without trying to dismiss theirs, without dismissing your own or theirs, because there's also a tendency when we compare ourselves to another woman, that we go into, well, she does this and this, she has this and this, but maybe she doesn't have the relationship that I have. She has, the level, like the family that I want, but she doesn't have the house that I have. The comparison that we can do in our homes to make things feel better for ourselves, as opposed to allowing ourselves to continuously expand and calibrate and be a star among stars, not needing to claim that first spot, first place, and be the one that the coach or the mentor is the most proud of, but really letting yourself be among these women that will decode your brilliance more and more. And that's another reason that Audacious came together for me. This is one of my bigger summits that I have done among women that are absolutely amazing. And for every single one, not to feel like, well, who is there and who is going to be talking about what? Because I want to make sure that my interview stands out more or that I get more visibility. None of that was the case, because the truth is that within sisterhood, within collaboration energy, you kind of feel like, I'm going to use an example that we were talking to with my friend actually, is that the type of women that we are and the type of women that we're talking to, the truth is that when we go shopping, we go to Gucci and we go to Chanel and we go to Prada, we go to all these different stores, and there is something there for one of us. And we could be shopping for the same thing, like the same different one purse from here and one purse from here, one earring from Tiffany and then from Cartier. There is just abundance of them. There is no lack. There is no it's either this or that. And I personally have had the privilege of working with multiple women and being in masterminds with multiple mentors that there is just different perspectives, and there is more than enough for everyone involved, but no one person can say things just like the other person. And you can feel it in their energy, in their presence, in their stories, that it's just them. It's the way that they relate to something or share their personal experiences story that activates something in you. So in collaboration, if you think about it, if you feel into it, the feminine can bring that energy of the expansion, that there is more. And being in the sisterhood, being among other powerful women, also friendships, when it comes to it, it will heal so many other areas of your life. The one of the things I often work with my clients, the ones that are desiring the relationship. Now I coach and mentor women in all areas because, as you can see, even though dating and relationship was my starting point, but there was so much more that I had lived experiences. So obviously, as I shared, there were more women that were attracted to my work and we worked together. But for my women who are working on their dating and relationships, one of the things that um especially if they find themselves in more of a needy energy, they want their man to be everything to them. Normally what starts to happen is that they either don't have female friendships that are powerful, or they have the tendency to abandon their friendships for the sake of the man. And I used to do this in my 20s all the time. And so when you give up one of the core desires that you have in your life, which is female friendships, healthy female friendships, then that thing is missing. And now you go to your relationship wanting him to fulfill a need that he cannot. He absolutely cannot. Yes, a lot of us has have our partners as our best friends, but there is a big difference between one a female, feminine sisterhood friendship that can give you than how your partner and your person can give you. So that will amplify your relationship, because when you're no longer going to your man needing for him to give you the things that you should be really getting from your female friendships, then that expectation energy isn't there, and so there is even more connection, more cherry on top, whatever he gives you. And also, in when you think about it, in your business and in the collaborations, if you are an entrepreneur, when you're not in competition, when you're in collaboration, when you have healed that sisterhood wound, instead of trying to compete with one another or try to outshine the other, you want to spotlight each other, because now you find yourself that the more I have a community of women, the more we expand, then there is one person there and one person and two, three, four, 10 of them that now can receive what she is giving, and they can receive from me, and now our community keeps growing and growing like wildfire, right? It's the most beautiful thing. So there is so much in this world that we can expand ourselves to receive more of. There is whatever our gateway was to, whether it's the matter of the heart, whether it's your health, whether it is be personal development in becoming a better leader, whether it's money, when you allow yourself, whether it's motherhood. There's a lot of beliefs about I can either be an amazing mother or an amazing CEO. All of it, there is this space, these spaces for us to let ourselves to expand our capacity. And one example that I love is when how a glass is made. First, it has to be melted and then it gets to expand and become more and more and more. It feels like that in this world when we allow ourselves to melt into the spaces and go through a little bit of a heat. There is that discomfort, there is that heat, but then we get to become more and more and more through this work. No matter where we start, the end is not even possible to know where you get to go. And so I brought this all of this up because I really want you to let yourself throughout this summit to desire more, to believe that there is more possible, because every woman has something that she's definitely, for me at least, it was when I was watching them, that, oh my God, I want more of that, that more certainty, that more resilience, the more money, the more relationships, whatever it is, allow yourself to receive it, and don't let the chatter that might go in your head, but she's not a mom, but she's got a man or doesn't have a man, to play out in your ear, because that's what stops us when we compare ourselves and think that her situation and circumstances are allowing her to do it, but it's different for me. That's why there are so many speakers, because I want you to be inspired by every single conversation in different contexts, and whatever you feel pulled towards, that's the area that it means you are invited to have more, to be more. So, with all of my heart, I hope you enjoy these series. I hope that you watch every single one of these conversations. I would love, love, love to know what your takeaways are. Put them inside the comment sections of the videos or send them to me, however, whichever way that you feel called for. And make sure that you go and follow them, receive the offers and the gifts that they have for you. It is meant for you to be in abundance, and then pick and choose what are the next steps for you. I love you. I'm so grateful that you said yes to Audacious, and I hope you enjoy every single interviews, the gifts, the offers, and I cannot wait to see what is next for you.